The Apple TV has always been a quiet but important part of Apple's ecosystem. It's not as flashy as the iPhone. It doesn't make headlines like the MacBook. And it doesn't create the kind of hype that an Apple headset or AR glasses might bring. But make no mistake, the Apple TV is one of those devices that ties everything together. It sits under the television, almost invisible, but it acts as the link between the biggest screen in your home and the rest of your Apple devices. Now, 3 years after the last model, a new version is on the way, the 2025 Apple TV 4K. And while it may look the same on the outside, what's inside tells a completely different story. The first thing to know is that the design will not change much. Apple is sticking with the same slim, black plastic box that fans are already familiar with. The company has learned that not every product needs a design refresh every few years. Sometimes what works just works. The current Apple TV is already sleek, minimal, and easy to fit anywhere near a television. So instead of chasing a new look, Apple has decided to focus entirely on what really matters: performance, features, and integration. And that's where things get interesting. The 2025 Apple TV is expected to bring a major leap in power. The rumor mill points toward Apple's latest chips, possibly the A17 Pro, the A18, or even the A19 from the most recent iPhones. To put this in perspective, these are the same chips that push console-level graphics on mobile devices. Bringing them into the Apple TV means the small black box in your living room could suddenly feel like a gaming console. Apple is also rumored to include hardware-accelerated ray tracing. For anyone who isn't deep into gaming, ray tracing is a technology that makes light and shadows behave more realistically in games. It's what makes reflections on water look natural, or sunlight breaking through windows feel cinematic. Until recently, this was only available on high-end consoles like the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, or powerful gaming PCs. Now, Apple wants to put that power in a tiny box that sits next to your TV. For gamers, this is huge. Apple has long been seen as a side player in the gaming world. But with the 2025 Apple TV, they're signaling something different. Console-level gaming is not just a phrase, it's a promise. And while nobody expects Apple to instantly replace Sony or Microsoft, it's clear that they want the Apple TV to become a real alternative. With Apple Arcade already growing, and the potential for streaming games through cloud services, this box could do far more than stream movies. But performance is just one side of the story. The second big leap is connectivity. The 2025 Apple TV is expected to feature Apple's custom Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chip. This isn't just a small upgrade. It could support Wi-Fi 6E or even Wi-Fi 7, bringing faster speeds, lower latency, and smoother streaming. In simple terms, it means you could stream 4K HDR content without worrying about buffering. It also means faster response times for games, and more reliable connections for smart home devices. Speaking of smart homes, Apple is pushing even harder in that direction. The new Apple TV will likely support Thread and Matter, two protocols designed to make smart devices work better together. Right now, the smart home market is messy. Some devices work with Alexa, others with Google Home, and some with HomeKit. Matter is meant to fix that by creating one universal standard. And with Thread built in, the Apple TV can act as a hub, making all your smart devices connect seamlessly. Imagine controlling your lights, thermostat, and security system right from the biggest screen in your home, all powered by the Apple TV. Cameras are another big rumor. For the first time, Apple may include both front and back sensors on the Apple TV 4K. That might sound strange at first. Why would a TV box need cameras? But the use cases are clear. A front-facing camera could enable FaceTime calls directly on your television. Picture sitting on your couch and video chatting with family. No phone or iPad needed. The rear camera could be used for room sensing, gesture controls, or even as part of a home security system. And with Apple's usual attention to image quality, we can expect high-resolution sensors, zoom capabilities, and better low-light performance. Features like multiple apertures and night mode could make these cameras surprisingly powerful for a dev. That's not primarily about photography. Where cameras and connectivity meet is where AI steps in. Apple is reportedly investing heavily in on-device AI for the 2025 Apple TV. This means smarter subject tracking during calls, better personalization for recommendations, and seamless syncing across your Apple devices. Imagine your Apple TV knowing that you left a game halfway through on your iPhone, and offering to pick up exactly where you left off. Or your Apple TV recognizing who is in the room and tailoring the interface accordingly. AI makes these experiences possible, and Apple is clearly building toward that future. All of these changes lead us back to gaming. The idea of console-level performance is not just about bragging rights. It's about giving users more reasons to use the Apple TV. If you can stream high-end shows, enjoy premium music, manage your smart home, and also play realistic, graphics-rich games, suddenly this small black box becomes central to your living room. Apple isn't just making a streaming device, they're making a hub for entertainment, productivity, and connection. So while the outside stays the same, the inside of the 2025 Apple TV will be radically different. It will be faster, smarter, and more connected than any model before it. It may not shout for attention, but it will quietly take on roles that go far beyond watching Netflix. This is the first half of the story. The second half, the price, the broader market impact, and Apple's long-term living room vision, paints an even bigger picture. But already, the 2025 Apple TV is shaping up to be more than just another update. It's a statement of where Apple wants to go next. The first half of the story was about what the 2025 Apple TV 4K can do. Faster chips, console-level gaming, smarterai, better connectivity. That's the foundation. But the second half of the story is about why it matters, how Apple will position it, and what it means for the bigger picture. Because even the most powerful device only succeeds if it makes sense for regular people to buy. Let's start with the price. The current Apple TV 4K sits above most streaming boxes in cost. Competing devices from Roku, Amazon, or Google often sell for $30 to $50. Apple has always been the premium option, charging over $100. But now rumors suggest a big shift. The 2025 model could drop under $100. That might sound small, but in this market it's huge. A two-figure price tag could completely change the way people see the Apple TV. Instead of a niche device for Apple fans, it becomes a serious competitor to budget streaming sticks. Apple might even offer two models: a Wi-Fi-only version for the cheapest price, and a Wi-Fi plus Ethernet version for those who want the most stable connection. This strategy gives people choice. Some will go for affordability, while others will pay a little more for performance. Either way, Apple expands its reach. Lowering the price while upgrading the internals shows that Apple wants this box in more homes than ever before. Now let's think about storage and memory. Apple hasn't revealed numbers yet, but if this box is truly meant for console-level gaming, it will need more than before. Games are large. Some take up dozens of gigabytes. If Apple wants people to see the Apple TV as a gaming device, storage has to scale. Even if cloud streaming becomes more common, local space still matters. That's especially true if Apple Arcade continues to grow with bigger, richer titles. Expect more RAM too, because high frame rates and ray tracing demand it. This will be one of the quiet upgrades that doesn't make headlines, but makes a real difference in everyday use. The smart home angle might be even bigger. The Apple TV is no longer just about watching shows. With Thread and Matter, it becomes a central hub for your home. Imagine sitting on the couch, picking up the remote, and controlling everything: lights, locks, thermostats, security cameras, without ever leaving the Apple TV interface. Siri becomes the assistant in your living room. The remote becomes the control panel. The TV screen becomes the dashboard. This matters because Apple wants the living room to be the heart of the smart home. The iPhone is your personal device. The Apple Watch is your health companion. But the Apple TV is meant to be the shared device, the one that brings a household together. With cameras added, it becomes even more powerful. FaceTime on the big screen turns the television into a family communication tool. Home monitoring features could turn it into a security hub. AI-driven recognition could even customize the interface depending on who walks into the room. Looking further ahead, Apple is rumored to be working on a hybrid device for 2026. Something that combines an Apple TV, a smart speaker, and a FaceTime camera into one. That would make sense. Right now, the Apple TV, the HomePod, and the iPad overlap in certain ways. Combining them could create a single, all-in-one living room device. Something that competes directly with Amazon Echo Show and Google Nest Hub, but with Apple's polish and ecosystem. The 2025 Apple TV might be the stepping stone toward that bigger vision. So, how does this fit into the market? Right now, streaming devices are everywhere. Roku dominates the low end. Amazon Fire TV is cheap and deeply connected to Prime Video. Google TV is bundled with smart TVs. Apple TV has always been different. More expensive but also smoother, faster, and richer in features. By dropping the price and adding more power, Apple is finally going after the mainstream. They want to keep their premium feel but also grow their footprint. There are challenges, of course. Most people buy cheap sticks because they just want Netflix or YouTube. To convince them to pay more, Apple has to prove that the Apple TV offers more. Gaming is one way. Smart home integration is another. Tight ecosystem links are the third. If you already have an iPhone, iPad, or Mac, the Apple TV simply makes life easier. Handoff, AirPlay, shared services. It all feels smoother when you stay in Apple's world.